up, guys? We're Shrimp Po' Boy. Today is October 22nd as I upload this. That means it's Christopher Lloyd's birthday. 85th birthday. Happy birthday. It's my little shout-out video of sorts. I wanted to go ahead and give a little summary for those who might not be as knowledgeable about his film career, his acting career, and I don't know much of the theater work, but I do know he's done theater work. But what I mostly know of is his voice acting and straight up acting in film, television, and voice acting for different things mainly animated stuff. Sorry, I had a piece of cat hair from my beard. Sorry. So anyhow, that being said, let's get into it. Quite an illustrious career, going all the way back to what, mid-70s. I know he was in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. There was that sitcom called Taxi. He's made an appearance in a lot of sitcoms, like Big Bang Theory. I remember he voice acted as the genie in the DuckTales movie, right? I never forgot that. Let's see. Back to the Future, obviously. He played Judge Doom in Who Framed Roger Rabbit. He was the second man, I think, to play the live portrayal of Uncle Fester from the Addams Family since Jackie Coogan. The guy who passed an act called the Coogan Act. It was dedicated to enforcing a protection on kid actors' earnings to protect them from being squandered by parents or guardians or anybody. Pretty cool. I found that was interesting, and Jackie Coogan went through a lot of hell. That's why he got pushed for it. Treasure of the Lost Lamp. That was the other part of the DuckTales title. I would just took a small glance at the filmography screen. Just it came, and I was just trying to remember, but I looked anyway. He was in Cyber Chase as the hacker. That's a villain role of his. He voice acted in that. That was a PBS cartoon show for those of us who grew up in the 90s and early 2000s. I remember him as the librarian in The Page Master. I wasn't too crazy about that movie, but I loved his portrayal in it. I loved his parts in it. As the wizard, of the Page Master, the wizard himself, and the librarian. I will admit I have an absolute guilty pleasure. It's a guilty pleasure for obvious reasons when I mention the name. It's not that great of a movie, but it's a guilty pleasure, and I finally got that out of my mouth. And Chris Lloyd gave it his all when he did the part. My favorite... what was it called? My Favorite Martian? I believe that was the name of it. I'm trying to find it if it's on the filmography section. I knew he was in Hey Arnold the movie I knew that. He played the coroner. What was the name of that? Where is it at? Is it on the television section? Can't find it. He also, let's see, what was his other portrayals if I remember. the really expensive Disney knockoff that just stereotyped the historical figure's portrayal as a villain and a devil worshiper instead of the holy man that he was in real life that was murdered, Rasputin in the Disney knockoff Anastasia. And by the way, Doug Walker, when he was doing the nostalgia critic bit, I'm going to correct something from that review. As hilarious as it was. That was not Christopher Lloyd singing. That was Jim Cummings singing the entire time singing in a Christopher Lloyd impression. Doing a Christopher Lloyd impression, singing while doing that impression at the same time. That's voice acting, folks. In the dark of the night, evil will find her. That was Jim Cummings singing whilst doing a Chris Lloyd impression. That's fantastic capability right there. He is the only man I can vouch for that I could consider worthy of inheriting the title Man of 1,000 Voices from Mel Blanc. Because he has done so many hundreds of voices, and to do that as well on top, holy shit. Yeah, I remember the Billy and Mandy episode he was in. In the episode Dumb Luck, voice acted the character the Snail or whatever his name. I think it was Snail or something. Didn't I see him in a crime show? I think so. Let me see. Okay, I was right. It was Law and Order Criminal Intent. He's also been in a lot of other stuff. Besides that, let's see. But the biggest role he's most known for, the most well known for, was Doc Brown. Whom, by the way, I think they should just erase the Doc Brown Saves the World bit from history, because it wasn't, to me, Chris Lloyd gave it his all. Don't get me wrong, but the document, the short film itself contradicts a lot of the stuff in Back to the Future itself. By necessity. Pardon the damn fucking voice in the background. Please pardon that. I mean, don't get me wrong, gave it his all, but still. And he's great for it, but the story was just contradictory to the end of the third movie and all, and, you know. He's made legacies. He's helped people create memories with their kids when they showed their kids Back to the Future, the movie, and then they showed their kids, and so on and so forth. So it's something. It's a legacy that'll probably never die. Folks, I'm gonna have to go into some of the. Oh yeah. He played as, what was his name? Sam Howard, I think. Sam something other in the television movie adaptation of Ransom of Red Chief in the 90s. He's one of the two hobos that came into town. What that portrayal taught me, because I watched it. I grew up. Well, I watched that growing up. It was a lesson about second chances. Even when you hit bottom of the barrel, you can only go up, and they went up. Although in a really chaotic way, they did go up, and they earned a decent ending at that point, I believe. So there's that. What I learned from his portrayal of Judge Doom. The portrayal of Judge Doom instilled into me not to generalize and hate my own kind so much that I'm willing to kill them off to do what I perceive as progress. Because that's the epitome of Judge Doom. He was an evil and murderous piece of shit that was willing to kill off all other toons, genocide his whole kind, in a similar way misanthropes are willing to do in our current legal systems. Anyway, that being said, and he comes out and dressed as a man, doing all these political shenanigans to try to get his own visionaries pushed forward, but killing off his own kind to do it. Do not go down that path. Those are lessons I learned, and plenty more. But that's a whole bunch of talking about that single role and the things I've learned about life and how they will go. What I learned from Judge Doom as a character. So we'll move on. Both portrayals of Uncle Fester, including Chris Lloyd's, I have to honestly say, it was be yourself, and if you want to be fun, just let loose. Just let loose. Just go all out. But don't be afraid to get serious and be ready to do something. Get dangerous when you had to be. Don't be afraid of getting ready to throw down when you absolutely have to. Those are the lessons I learned from Uncle Fester. Now, the most influential of his work on my life was Back to the Future, the trilogy, and the Telltale game. Because again, Doc Brown Saves the World to me was just meh. Sorry. And, well, when that show would come on in the TV, whether we stayed at a Hampton hotel or a Holiday Inn or whatever, or when we were in one of the places we lived in for a short while, whether it was in Presley Island, Tennessee, or in parts of Arkansas for short whiles because of Dad's work, or when we finally moved to Missouri, moved up there in 96 and what have you, and we Dad would come in from work. Some of those times, he would lay me on he would lay on the couch and lay me in front of him and wrap an arm around me. We'd just cuddle up and we would watch Back to the Future movies when I was a kid. He'd always try to make time for that. I'd ask him questions and he would tell me, answer what he could and the best he could and whatnot, and about what we saw, and those are great times. That catalyzed some good time. Those are really great memories of mine, and I can't thank you and Michael J. Fox and Robert Zemeckis and Bob Gale enough for those. Sometimes when we'd come in, in my teen years, we'd come in after we worked on someone's car or a piece of equipment or something. We'd come in and we would sit down and we would sometimes it'd be on, it'd play, and we'd sit back and we'd watch the films when they would have a marathon. When we weren't watching like a John Wayne marathon or something on the Western Channel when we had DirecTV. Thanks for those too. Those are some of the best moments I have to carry with me the rest of my days. I can't thank you guys enough. So, that being said, what I learned from the interactions of Doc and Marty on the screen, because it was Chris and Michael that brought the scripts to life and brought it to our visuals, you know. First thing I learned was, well, family, you know, doesn't have to be blood tied. The second thing I learned was a real friendship. A real friend is someone who won't help you bury the body, but will do what they can to stop you from having to bury one in the first place. A friendship, a real one, a real friend will also tell you, let you know something, and even if willing to endanger very critical elements of their lives to tell you something if necessary, like could potentially fucking up the space-time continuum by warning Doc about his getting shot, and then Doc returned the favor in part 3 about Marty losing his temper and getting in a wreck. And real friendships last through thick and thin, and they transcend time. And with these lessons I learned, I learned them when I was younger, you know. And the interaction between those two characters taught me these things, and taking those lessons and rolling with them, I'm happy to say online and IRL that I've made friends with people, and I feel strongly enough about them, I'd lay my life down for them in a second. I have you guys to thank for that too. So, happy birthday, and thanks for everything. That's all I gotta say. Hope you've had a great day today. Happy 85th birthday, Christopher Lloyd.